Hello, welcome to next series on our Agentic AI Foundations channel. If you have been following our Agentic AI Foundation series, you we have covered tons from understanding what makes an AI agent acceptable to building your first AI agent and diving into LLMs versus agents and with tools and memory, even unleashing this team with Crew AI. Now it's time to master the art of talking to these powerful AI models. So that's aim of starting this prompt engineering series, the ultimate guide to crafting AI conversations. Let's dive into. And today's agenda is what prompt engineering is and why it matters for powerful AI interaction. And we'll talk about basic terminology, what is prompt engineering, and next, foundational elements of prompting and what are the types of prompt. And next, we also talk about this prompting templates, how it differs based on various models we have, and how should we adapt for that. Next, using a small examples, we'll understand more. And we also have these advanced techniques. Few advanced techniques we will discuss. So by the end of this hour, we will unlock the full potential of any large language model. Okay, and mastering this prompt engineering. So let's begin with what is prompt. So generally, prompt is an input that you are giving to an AI model. Why you are giving that one? To tell it what you want to do it or how you want it to do it. Okay, that is termed as an prompt. Next, coming to prompt engineering, these two terminologies are different. So the process of creating these effective prompts comes under prompt engineering. That is completely based on the responses generated by the given inputs only. So that's why this nowadays these prompt engineering become a major skill. This also involves NLP tasks also, that is natural language processing, mostly text based tasks. So you might be thinking like, I just type a question, the AI model will get an answer, right? But it's not like a talking to the human, right? There will be some art or some signs of crafting these effective inputs to get the most best possible outputs from the large language models. Okay, and I want to answer to this question is why. Why is this important? First point is unlocks AI full powerful with better instructions. Uh, Generally, AI models are very incredibly capable, but still they need some guidance. That is by giving a prompt. Good prompts will unleash their true power. Next one is accuracy and relevant responses. So, giving a good prompts will avoid generic or incorrect responses. That is why we need to guide the AI precisely. Next thing is save time with fewer retries and get consistent results and solve complex problems clearly. Yes, breaking down the complex problems into manageable steps for the AI to flow and maintaining consistent results means it will ensure the repeatability. Means high quality results for specific tasks. That is only possible by giving a good prompt from our side. So to get our desired output faster with efficiency, we need to frame the input in such a way that to get a desired output. So this could be just like think like a director. You are a director. You are giving a prompt for a brilliant actor. So that actor has already immense talent. But the thing here is we need to clearly mention the script and about the character or whatever the scene so that it will give a Oscar worthy performance. So your prompt, whatever you are giving, your prompt is the script here. Okay. Next, moving on, I want to discuss about these five essential ingredients of this prompt. I am mentioning we know about this prompt and prompt engine, but I am mentioning here is we want a perfect prompt. Okay, while there's no one size fits all, right? So most effective prompts contain a combination of these five key ingredients that we call it as TCPEF framework. First, we need to talk about this T, that is task. Be specific about what you want. Yeah. For suppose when you want something like we'll ask AI model write something about AI. This is simple and generic prompt. But I would say this is a bad prompting. Why? Because we are not mentioning in the just we are mentioning write something about AI. To improve this one, I would write generate a 500-word blog post about the benefits of AI in healthcare, for suppose. So here I am mentioning generate a 500, 500 in the sense length of the words it should use. We are mentioning that one. And writing a 500-word blog post. We are mentioning here purpose. My purpose is to write a something about a blog post on AI. So, first one is we need to specify the task perfectly. To specify the task, we need to use these verbs such as summarize or generate. We can also mention generate something about AI or translate, explain, classify, and write. So these are the verbs which the indicates the task. We are telling that we want this thing from that model. We have to specify that one. Next is context. What background information does AI need to understand this context? For suppose I need to write about some product. If you give okay, write a product description or generate a product description, it won't know about the details or context about that product, right? So instead of that one, if we mention like our product is some reusable coffee cup which is made from recycled plastic, then we can mention that okay, write about this product and our target audience are some young professionals. If you mention this context about the product, at least a line, it will make a much more understanding of the our prompt and it will give a better output. Okay, that is how the context will adds a background information. If we have any background, we have to definitely mention that. Next one is persona, which defines AI role. Now, this is also an important thing. This means what role should that AI adopt? For suppose, if you want to ask about explain a theory of relativity, which is the question from some academics, right? So when you are mentioning this academics related question, mention the role before asking a question. For suppose, act as an high school science teacher and explain the theory of relativity. Then it will explain the that topic according to high school level only. Okay. So based on that, you will get a much more understanding of that concept. If you are in high school and it will explain a research or PhD level of explanation, we don't understand of that one, right? So it completely depends on our hands, means giving such a good input as per our requirement. And next E means example. Providing examples of that our desired input and output format for that content is also important. This is a much powerful. See, instead of telling the AI what to do, you just we show it. Okay, this is especially useful for specific output formats or styling requirements. Okay. For suppose if you want to extract some company names and their websites, then give an input. For suppose you are giving an input as an company name and mention output as an blank, or it will give company website in that one, right? So for this, make that input that my favorite company is some Google, and down output expected output is copy that Google's website in your prompt. So here we are indicating this, if this is an input, this is an expected output with an example. If you give an example, it will adapt to that one. This is also an important thing. Next is format. Format is how should the output be structured. For suppose always we want to specify how we want the output, but this makes AI response immediately usable, right? For suppose if I want the output in all a bulleted list, or if I want the data in a JSON format with keys as this company names and websites. So we have to mention this format at the end. Structure the response into bullet points. Structure the response as two paragraphs. Or return the output in JSON format with the keys. If keys, we mention that. So this is how we have to mention the format also. This format is output format. How output be structured. We are telling that one also. These all makes a very good prompt. These are the main five essential ingredients for prompting. Okay. Next, moving on, we have in context learning. Here, in context learning, ICL means the model can learn from examples within the prompt itself. Okay, without we need to retrain or fine tune. No need of fine tune. Just learn from the example what you are giving in the prompt. Depending on how many examples you provide, that we have categorized into three types. First one is zero shot, one shot, and few shot prompting. So let's start with this zero shot prompting. Now, this is what where the most of you probably doing already. So this where the model will entirely relies on this pre-trained knowledge, okay, to understand our request and to generate a relevant response. Using this zero shot prompting, we are directly tapping into billions of parameters and patterns of LLM. Okay, this is essential for understanding the language and the world to our specified task. That's a simple, like a straight and straightforward task. For suppose if you see the example which I have mentioned here, classify the sentiment of the following movie review as positive, negative, or neutral. Simply direct question I'm asking. Just to classify this sentiment. And if you see the output which I have got, sorry to mention here, yeah, it's okay. The output which I got is neutral directly, single word for this prompt. Just I have mentioned the classify the sentiment of the following, and I have given this sentence. So when you need a quick and a general answer, and it doesn't require any highly specified format or style something. So it simply use this one zero shot prompting. Next, if you see one shot prompting here, as like a name suggests, if we provide AI with a single example of input and output, what we want, it immediately followed by a new task and it will perform. Okay. So this single example acts as an powerful hint for that. I mean for that model. So if you see the example, classify the sentiment of the following movie reviews. Follow the example format. Review. I love these products. It's amazing. And the sentiment is positive. Okay, very good. And the new update caused a lot of crashes. Okay, and what is the sentiment of that one we are asking? Actually, we are not mentioning that. Please mention the sentiment. We just mention this, classify the sentiment of the following movie reviews at the top. And next, I gave one example, which is where the sentiment is positive. Next, I gave the review and I left blank with the sentiment. And the output which I have got is sentiment negative. So, if you notice here, it not only classified the sentiment but perfectly matched, right? Perfectly matched with the sentiment. So that one shot told it exactly how to structure its response, which is very crucial for this automated processing and consistent output. So when you need a specific output format, this isn't inherently obvious to the model, but just to clarify in the task for basic information extraction and or reformatting any task, we'll use this shot. That is one shot prompting. Next, final and most powerful thing is we have few shot prompting. Okay, this technique involves providing two or more examples. Okay, within our prompt. Why? Because this allows the model to identify more um, robust kind of patterns and generalize more effectively compared to a single example. So, by mentioning these multiple input and output pairs, the model can infer these underlying rules, okay, and produce the accurate results. It's like giving AI a mini training session directly in the prompt and influencing its internal weights, okay, temporarily for this specific task. Let's move on. Here I have mentioned prompt in the prompt. Extract the product name, network, RAM, storage from the following text and format it in as a JSON object. Okay, and in that one, in the first example, I have mentioned all those things. And if you see, I have mentioned the output in the JSON format, which I want. And I gave second example also. Next, in the text, which I have gave these features and left that JSON. And if you see, the output is perfectly in JSON. So for complex tasks which requires a more understanding or specific reasoning, we use this one. Or if you want any desired output in this format only, no, you don't want any style or you don't have any specific. If you want any specific style variations, we can use this one, and we can also use this one for tasks like data extraction, where the structure of this input or output can vary for multiple examples. So, to improve this accuracy and consistency, um, compared to these before zero shot and one shot, this will help more. Okay, so look at that one. Even though the last input's phrasing was a bit different, the A correctly identified and extracted the requested information, right? That is only because of multiple examples. That is termed as few shot prompting. So here where the powerful of automation and structured data task comes here. So by providing these kind of examples, whether it is a zero, one, or a few shot, we are giving the AI a clear picture of what our expectation is. Okay. When these zero shot lies on a broad knowledge. Okay. Where one shot gives this some precise template kind of, and few shot prompting helps in generalize multiple patterns, okay, leading you to an incredible results. In this concept of ICL, okay, we'll also see why do templates differ. So whatever the things we have discussed up to now, these types of prompting, these will be differ from various models. What are the models we have? As of now, we are using ChatGPT, Gemini AI, Copilot, Perplexity, Claude AI, and many more. So for all these shorts what we have discussed may not work. Why? The question raises why. That is, we'll discuss now. First point I would like to mention is training data. Okay, because the models, what are these different models are announced by different companies, and those data are different. Those models which are trained on various datasets. So the patterns, structures, and conventions which are present in the training data influence how they expect inputs to be formatted. Okay, some models might have seen some conversational data, others more structured kind of text. So here where the differences of models comes. Next is architectural difference. While all these are as it is and text based, I have mentioned before, these are all transformed based architectures. Internal architecture choice and optimizations by the model developers can affect the process, how they process and how they give priority to and specific information within the prompt. So this is there will be a little bit change in that internal design, though all are made by transformer based architecture. That is the first next thing. And next, instruction tuning. In instruction tuning, see, many modern LLMs are instruction tuned only. This means they have undergone additional training to specially follow first instruction. So the style of these instructions tuning the datasets can influence their preferred prompts or prompt formats. For instance, if a model was heavily tuned on data where instructions were often preceded by you are a role model, you are a digital marketer, you are a computer analyst, data analyst. So it might respond better to this kind of tuning. So there will be a change in the instruction what they have included. So that's why there will be a difference. Next thing is developer recommendations also. Like model developers, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, they'll conduct some extensive research and often provide best practices and recommend prompt structures also for specific models. These recommendations are based on some testings and insights into their model's behavior. So for your note, check always the official documents for the latest best practices for any given model by the company. Checking their official document is important here. And it's not about one model being better than other in terms of prompt structure. Okay, but rather than understanding their personality and adapting our communication style to get this best out of each. Okay, there will be a little flexibility goes. Okay. Next, I would like to talk about few advanced techniques. Okay. Now we are in a prompt engineering like kind of hero. Okay, because we have seen what are the types of data, or I mean types of prompting, how to give prompt. In the prompt, we have seen the essential ingredients, and we have discussed all those with examples. And next, we have compared or we have differentiated across the models. So, giving prompt across models is also a differentiating thing here. So, let's briefly touch on some advanced techniques where you'll encounter as you will go in deeper. So, this builds upon our foundational principles. Okay. First is chain of thought, COT prompting. Just ask the model to think step by step or reason through this problem. This encourages the model to break down the complex task into intermediate reasoning steps. This will lead to more accurate and reliable answers, especially when you are using for mathematical calculations or logical problems. First, we need to mention that solve the following problem or think step by step or reason through this problem. So these are the verbs we have. For suppose solve the following problem and explain the reasoning. If a car travels at a 60 kilometers per hour for 2 hours, Then what are 40 kilometers per hour for 1 hour? What is the total distance traveled? Think step by step. So after mentioning this whole question, here at the last we are mentioning think step by step. That is, we are connecting this whole question. That is chain of thought. So that it will connect that steps and give a reason for that connection. What are the intermediate reasoning steps we have asked in that question? It will point out those things where sometimes human will fail to point those reasonings also. If we mention these things, it will get a reasoning steps perfect. That is a chain of thought prompting. Next is tree of thought prompting. Here, this is an extension of chain of thought. Okay, where the model explores multiple reasoning paths or thoughts. Then it evaluates them into the selected the best one. Okay, which is useful for more even complex problem solvings where we have multiple approaches might exist. Suppose a greedy algorithm will have multiple thoughts, multiple paths to choose. We have to mention reason for every path. That is a tree of thought prompting. Simple, it is an extension of chain of thought prompting. Next is persona engineering, which designs rich role-based prompts. So behind simple some assignment, this prompt involves creating a rich or detailed roles for AI. Okay, sometimes even including some specific knowledge bases also. This can lead to highly specialized responses. Before slides, I have mentioning the role is important. You are a data analyst. Start the prompt like you are a digital marketer. So we are telling that you are a digital marketer, so that it will perform or give the output based on that context. What is the context here is digital marketer. The role is important here. Role based prompts. Next, what we have is self correction or reflection. Here, the concept is prompting the model to evaluate its own output and then revise it. Okay, making AI review and improving its own answers. Simply, you just wrote an article. Now, you want to review it for clarity and suggest any improvements. So, this is a summary of our blog post. I mean, this is a content of our blog post. Improve the content or elaborate it, we'll say. We or will suggest, we'll ask for any suggestions for better CEO or better improvements. This is self correction or reflection. Means we are telling a model to revise that one. That is one of the technique we have. Next thing is hybrid prompting. Here, combining these multiple techniques with a single prompt means like across the series of prompts to achieve some complex goal. We are combining multiple techniques. For example, using the few short examples with chain of thought prompt. Sorry. So In few short, what we have learned in few short prompting, the thing is we have to give a multiple examples which to get a desired input and desired output in few short. Now if we combine the few short learning with this chain of thought, that is COT prompting, which will give an hybrid prompting. So when you guys are going for an prompt engineering kind of roles, these things are very often forms and a backbone for our AI applications, especially when we are working with an agentic system. This prompt and these techniques are plays a vital role. Moving on, yeah, conclusion. So yes, in this thing, we have seen how to the basic prompt engineering and difference between prompt and prompt engineering. So now we able to know what are the ingredients in our powerful prompts, and we know how to tailor the prompts for different models, right? And how they different. The template is different for various models, right? And we also moved into and discussed about these advanced techniques and we pushed the boundaries of AI interactions. So mastering prompt engineering is not just getting better outputs, it's about understanding a better understanding and communicating with AI models incredibly, which is shaping our future. And one more thing, nowadays it becomes a major skill, okay, that which will empower you in AI field as AI becomes more integrated, right? So if you found this video helpful, go on and stay tuned with us. In our next videos also, we will dive deeper into more advanced prompt engineering strategies. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.